everyone, it's Corey of Blue Falcon Board Gaming. If you're new to the channel, I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran that started the Blue Falcon Board Gaming group in the Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia tri-state area with the hopes of using board games to promote positive mental health as well as to make board games more accessible to the community by hosting and co-hosting free events. Today, I am joined by Josh, Rowan, and Jory. Welcome.
Thanks. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, so do you guys want to introduce yourself? Can we start with Josh?
Sure. My name is Josh Cappel. I am a artist and game developer working in the board game industry. I work for KTBG and Bird Island Games, and I make games with these kids sometimes, and with other people other times. And this is my son Jory.
Hello. I'm Jory. I like making games. I've tried to make some before.
Same.
And I have finally been able to finish one with these two. I love games and I like sports and yeah.
Very nice. And this is Rowan.
Hi, I'm Rowan. I like playing and making games. We started making games together only like a year ago, and it started out great. So, yeah, that's us.
Very nice. And Jory, how old are you?
I am 11.
You're 11. And then Rowan, how old are you?
I'm also 11.
11. Well, you guys are definitely the youngest designers that I've talked to. So do you want to tell us about your game that's coming out? It's Diced Veggies.
Yeah, why don't you grab the box? All right, so this is a prototype. You can hold up longer. This is a prototype version of the box. We kind of mocked it up and made it ourselves. Diced Veggies is a game where we are chefs and we are making recipes. And the cool part of the game is that, not the cool part, but one of the cool parts of the game is that you roll a bunch of dice into a grid, and then there is a cardboard cleaver piece that you use to actually like chop away segments of dice away from that grid, and that's how you get the dice that you need in order to make the recipes that you're trying to. So there's all sorts of different ingredient dice representing different vegetables, and then there are different recipe cards that show you which vegetables you need in order to make those recipes. So the chopping action is sort of a cool resource gathering mechanism that we hadn't seen anywhere else, and that gets you the dice you need in order to make the cool recipes. And then there are other cards called hypes, which allow you to manipulate the scoring of your recipes based on the numbers on the dice that you've chopped.
Or the colors.
Colors as well, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was reading through the rule book, and it seems like a pretty, cut and dry. I get it, cleaver. But it's got, cut, cook, and then card. So you cut like you were talking about. You cook the recipe card, and then you draw. It was one or the other, right? You could draw a hype card, or you could draw a new recipe card.
That's right.
Yeah. So what brought this about? What inspired the theme? What inspired you guys to make the game?
Yeah. Okay. So me and my dad were working on a game that hasn't been finished.
Different one.
Yeah. And we are thinking of names, and he just started saying random names, and he said Diced Veggies, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool name. Maybe we could make a game based off of that.
It was not suitable at all for the other game, but just the notion of a game called Diced Veggies was interesting, and we looked up to see if there was such a game existing, and there wasn't, which was surprising. And we thought, okay, this is a good opportunity to make a game that fits that cool name.
Yeah, so a weekend, me and him started designing it. It started off with a sheet, and you had to make the recipes. You still had to like cut and drag, and you got points when you finished recipes. Then one time we were at a cottage, and we were designing it, and then she asked, that looks cool. Can I play? And then we said yes, and then she said, can I design it with you? And yeah. So
yeah, it started off as more of a roll and a write, I guess a cut and write game at first, and then it we decided that wasn't working out and evolved into what it is now with the cards and the scoring. And like Jory said, we'd rented a cottage for a week in the summer with my brother's family. So Rowan and her family were there, and while we're working on the game, she was very interested in it, and it felt like let's do this all three together. So we worked on the game, play tested it a lot, came up with all the content together, and really had a fun time developing this game and trying to keep it as simple and streamlined as possible. That was one of our main goals for the game design.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed pretty streamlined whenever I was going through the rules. It's only a few pages. I read through it, and it made perfect sense to me. The only thing I was a little unclear on, whenever you cut, what angles can you cut in? Does it always have to be a straight line, or can you kind of zigzag a little bit as long as it doesn't break up the entire block?
Straight line only. There's a note in there that says you can't angle the cleaver. It has to be a straight line, and you have to push it perpendicular to the blade when you put the blade down. So you just lower it into a seam and then push it in a sideways direction, and that's it. You can't finagle the cleaver around to try to hook away stuff that's in the middle or anything.
Gotcha. And the dice that you take away, they have to equal out to 10 or less?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that was I think that might have been the aha moment of the game design, was figuring out what the limitation on cutting could be, and then finding value for those 10 pips worth of cutting that you did. So it's cool to have that number 10 as the value, the limiter on how many dice you're able to cut, and then you can use the numbers that you cut towards the hype cards that create different scoring opportunities for you. So the numbers don't matter at all when you're making foods. All you care about is the colors of the dice for the recipes. But then by introducing the hypes, we gave a reason for people to care about particular numbers.
Right. So the example that's in the rule book, it's got that it is, if you cook this recipe and the dice that you use equal out to 19 exactly, you get extra points. Are all the hype cards like that, or do they kind of act as bonus points, or do some of them give you other abilities or anything?
It's always scoring. There are never bonus abilities given from them. They're not all about summing to a specific number. Rowan is grabbing some examples here. Here we go. So, what's that?
It's with sun gold tomatoes.
Okay, so this one is with sun gold tomatoes, and it says that you must discard a tomato before you cook. So that one actually doesn't have to do with the numbers on the dice, but if you discard a tomato before you cook, then you will score 3 points for every tomato that's in the recipe. Or there's home style, which all numbers must be 2, and then you'll get 1 point for every ingredient in the recipe. There's a big variety. There's a ton of them. There's 34 different hypes, and they all have different sort of specifications, different criteria on them, and different scoring value on them. And we had a lot of fun coming up with them all, and coming up with the names for them, and balancing the scoring on them too. That was a big challenge.
Very nice. So then you cook your recipe card. You can only do one at a time. Is that correct? You can't complete multiple
as many recipes as you want on the turn,
Okay.
as many as you're capable of, but each recipe can only have one hype applied to it.
Okay, that's what it was. And then you go to draw a card, and you can have a max of 2 hype cards, 2 recipe cards, and 8 dice at the end of your turn. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Awesome. And then the game ends when
someone completes their 6th recipe, then everyone else gets one more turn, and then the game ends.
Okay. And then you just tally up the points.
Then we all reveal our cards and the hypes that we've applied to them, and tally them up, and whoever has the highest score wins.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what was your all's favorite part about coming up with the game?
Probably thinking of the recipes was fun. Because
Okay.
I like to cook, and it was interesting to just try and think about that.
It was. We had the 5 ingredients in the game, so we had to do actually a lot of research and Googling to figure out a bunch of recipes that would have those ingredients in them in various combinations. So it was some fun research to do. That was a lot of fun.
Not a lot of recipes have lots of carrots in them.
Stretch for carrots. How about you? What did you like?
So I actually liked working on like what recipes that I can do, and on the box there's like in the corner here there's the different symbols to show that, like up here. And I was thinking, but then with my dad, and that was pretty fun to do. And
Jory helped me with the graphics a little bit.
That was fun. And I also liked thinking of hype cards and what their names could be. That was fun. And it's
Generating content, really. That was a big part of the task, because the rules are quite simple, and in order to perfect them, we just had to play it and figure out what felt a little bit wrong, and then play it again a little bit differently. But the big part of the design was coming up with all the recipe combinations, all of the hype possibilities, and then balancing the scoring.
Mm-hmm. And you guys have a like an alternate rule set too if you're playing with kids, to where you can remove the hype cards. You can remove having to count to 10 whenever you take dice. You can only take was it 3 dice if you're not doing the sum? Yeah. So I like that, because my little girl, she's 5, and every night it's one of those, Daddy, let's play a board game. I'm, just getting her ready as she gets older and can actually read and stuff, getting her ready to be a gamer. So we'll play different stuff. But I appreciate when games do that. It's like, but I think, KTBGs, they're really good about that. It's like, here's a easy enough game to where you can play with a kid, but then here's the version of it to where it still offers depth and strategy and all of that to, hardcore gamers. Like, so I really appreciate that about the company.
Yeah, it's something we're proud of, and we try to do with every game. And with Diced Veggies in particular, we wanted to go as low as we could with the possible player age. So we played with some other cousins that are 4 and 6 years old, and we got it way down there so that even the very youngest kid could play and enjoy themselves.
Nice. So it's coming out at Gen Con, is that correct?
That's the intention, is for it to be released there. Yeah, so far
Okay.
It's on schedule, and hopefully we'll have them there.
And that's August 3rd through 6th this year. Do you know what the timeline is post Gen Con, when it will be available either through the KTBG website or any of the online stores or retailers?
I don't know exactly. Probably shortly after that. My wife Helena is the one that actually runs the company, so she is
okay.
She knows all the logistics answers. For sure.
You're like, hey, I just designed stuff.
Occasionally, I eavesdrop and I hear details about that. But.
Yeah, I used to work at a t-shirt print company, and it was a local family company. There was only like 6 people that worked there, and they were all family, and I was able to jump in, and it was funny because like the husband and the wife, they both ran the company, but the husband only did graphic design. We'd ask him anything about a t-shirt order, and he's like, I have no clue. Go ask Angela. Like, he's like, I just click and paint on my computer, and I do what she tells me.
Yeah, we definitely advise each other and listen to each other and give each other feedback on each other's wheelhouse. But we're the experts in our own area.
Right. So, Rowan, what do you think as far as kids playing games? Why do you think that's important for younger kids to play board games?
Well, I have always liked to play board games, but my little brother has a little bit, doesn't like to play them as much, and it makes me a little bit upset because, it's something everybody can do together, and I think that families should do that because it's fun and something you guys can all do together.
So I'm going to need you to talk to my wife then. We just went on a Meeples at Sea board game cruise, and I got her to play one game the entire 7 days that we were there.
Oh, wow.
I played a ton of games, but I was able to trick her into playing one game. So, Jory, what do you think? Why do you think it's important for kids to play games?
Well, I think it's important because not a lot of people play games. Yeah. And I think they should. It can help you with your strategy and your like thinking on the world, not just in games, and they're fun, and you can do them with a group, not just like one person, and it's good to play games with people.
Good answer.
Absolutely. So, Josh, what do you think? Why is it important for kids to play games?
I think it's important for kids to play games because games provide an arena that's not the real world for kids to learn how to interact with each other according to a set of rules, just like we have to in life. Life has rules, and it's a place where you can make mistakes. It's a place where you can lose without real consequence. It's a place where you can learn how to lose graciously, learn how to win graciously, learn a lot of things that can be applied to real life, taking turns, being strategic, being thoughtful. They are full of great art and design and create great experiences. It's just, I mean, games are basically what our family has sort of dived into and surrounds our life. So we really believe that games are great for kids and families because they, like the kids said, they bring families together. It's something that you don't have to do alone, the way a lot of things in life are done these days. There's a lot of passive absorbing of entertainment now, and this is something where you are together, putting out into the entertainment experience and taking from it as well. So games are good for children and for families for those reasons.
Yeah, I like the ideal of it's a safe space to be able to fail. You're not always going to win every single game that you play, and I think it's important for people to get used to that. And that it's okay to make mistakes and to recognize when you make a mistake. There's nothing worse than making a move and then taking your hand off the piece and going, "Oh no, I should have did this over here instead of here." But my hand's off the piece. Like, that's the rule with my group. If your hand leaves the piece, that was your move.
Right. Yeah. We give like you got one chance per game to
Yeah.
take your move back, and then after that you're done.
Yeah. Your first one's a freebie, but after that, if your hand leaves the piece, then that's it. Or if we have to flip another card, if another card gets revealed, nope, there's no take backsies on that.
Right.
So, is there any games that you guys are looking forward to playing for the first time this year? Anything on your radar that's catching your eye?
Yeah, actually.
What?
They're making, my mom and my dad are making another game. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice.
It's called Endeavor Deep Sea, and I'm actually looking forward to playing that. It seems very fun, and I like the art on it a lot, actually. And the game Endeavor's very fun, so I would like to see how this game plays out, and yeah.
Nice. We should play it. We have a prototype. Right. How about you? Any upcoming games that you're looking forward to playing?
I don't know. I didn't I knew about that. I think you told me a few days ago, but I don't really know. My family is not as gamey as them. Like more chill board games that are like 30, 40 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's something I should ask. How long do you think Diced Veggies takes to play? What's the average playtime with it?
It could take from if you
23 minutes.
Yeah, it can go from
20 to 30.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
What did we say on the box? We'll go with that.
We said 30 minutes.
30 minutes. It's 30 minutes long. Yeah,
sounds
and
good.
That's about accurate. I mean, it will vary by player count, but it's about that range.
Yeah. Josh, what was your games coming up that you were going to mention?
I was going to say that we're in the business of making games, so we're head down in all of our future designs, and a lot of the games that I'm looking forward to tend to be the ones that we're currently working on. And so right now, just like Jory said, I'm also very eager for Endeavor Deep Sea to become truly playable. It's very exciting. Jarrett and Carl, the designers of that game, are developing like scenario after scenario for it, and it's very exciting, and I'm very eager to play that. As always, we have other stuff in the pipeline as well, and my focus is always on those games and being excited about them when they come out. I don't get a super frequent chance to play other published games, but coming up, we have a getaway that we're going to for about a week that we're going to be playing a lot of games. So I don't know what I'm looking forward to, but I'm just looking forward to sitting down and playing many games per day, learning a lot of new stuff.
Yeah. What part of the country are you guys in?
We are in the country of Canada.
Oh,
and we are in
I was thinking you were U.S. based for some reason.
Yeah, no, and we're in the part of it that is Toronto.
Okay. As I'll say, there's it's Ravenswood Castle. It's in Ohio, and it's beautiful there. And it's like this old castle that got. It looks like an older castle. It was built in like the late '80s or something, though. But it's kind of like a bed and breakfast hotel type thing. In the castle itself, they have specialty rooms or special themed rooms. So you've got like the Rapunzel room and all of this, and it's all a certain theme. But then on the grounds itself, they have different cabins that you can rent out and everything. And we had a group of 10 of us go up there for 4 days and just rent a bunch of cabins together. And we just played games all weekend. We took over the library, and there was just 10 of us posted up, and other people that were staying at the castle, they were jumping in and out with us to play different games, and it was a blast. So there's nothing like just a good weekend of just doing nothing but gaming.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to find the time sometimes, but when you do, it's very gratifying. I love just having the time to sit down and play a lot of new stuff.
Yeah. Well, and then I guess last question here. What is your all's, let's say, top 2 games at the moment? I know everybody's list always changes, but what are your 2 favorite games at the moment that are published?
Top 2 published games.
Can't reveal any more secrets.
Diced Veggies doesn't count. It's barely published. What did you say before?
I said Garinto is fun.
Go Garinto.
I like that one. And Village Pillage I like too.
Very nice. What about you?
Well, I like Fall of the Mountain King a lot. It's a very strategic game.
Pretty heavy.
Yeah. And I also like
Looking for ideas?
Yeah. I like Seven Wonders a lot.
Okay.
It's a very fun card game.
Oldie.
Yeah.
You like the base game, or do you like Architects better?
Well, I think there's more than one. It's called the add-ons. What are they called again? Expansions.
Yeah.
We have 2
Babel.
of them. Yeah, we have Babel also. The base game is fun, but I think the expansions do add on to it. So yeah,
that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what an expansion is.
Yeah.
And then Joe.
Yeah, for me, we play a lot of games with family, and one game that has just been skyrocketing for us lately is called Azul. You may have heard of it. It does such a great job of capturing people who aren't regular gamers, and yet it provides a good depth of play for people that are experienced gamers. And once people get hooked into it, they really start to get into the tactics of it. So Azul is getting a ton of plays lately. And then another game that we're playing a lot is called Power Plants. That's a game that is by KTBG, but it's a published game of ours. And it like Diced Veggies, it is a smaller, simpler game than most of the ones that we've done lately. So Power Plants is streamlined. It's got a million different variations of it that you can play based on the tiles that you include. And we're having a lot of fun exploring all the different combinations of play in that game.
Yeah, I saw that Power Plant was on the play to win list for Geekway in St. Louis.
Oh.
That's in May. I think it's May. But I've got a buddy that's riding with me from Ohio there, and then my buddy in Colorado is flying out, and then he's got a buddy from New Jersey that's flying out, and we're all meeting up there for the weekend and stuff. But we were looking at the play to win list and just kind of making what, our list of, hey, these are the games that we definitely want to knock out during that. And Power Plants was on there for me. Hickory Dickory, Dog Park. I think it's Ottawa. It's the new Rosenberg game. It's with the bats.
I hadn't heard.
Let's see here. It may trigger your memory or something.
No.
It's a newer one though, but it's about bats, and I think it's South America.
Right. That's gonna be Ottawa.
Because it's called Ottawa.
And then Fire Nation Rising from the OP or the OP.
Right. Cool.
All right.
Some good picks.
Yeah. I'd say right now my top two games. Scythe is definitely always going to be my number one game. It's the game that got me. Yeah, it's the game that got me into board gaming, or at least modern hobby board gaming. But I absolutely love it. I've got every single upgrade for it. I've got well over $1,000 sunk into that game. And then I got to play Yido again over the board game cruise. It's like Lords of Waterdeep on steroids is usually how I describe it.
Oh, really?
But I hardly ever get to play it because it can take a while. And I mean, it was like, I think we started at 9:30 setting the game up, and about 2:15 in the morning is whenever we finished.
Oh, boy.
And there's 5 of us. Yeah, it was fun though, and I'm just like, this is why I like this game so much. So
yeah, I mean, I like Lords of Waterdeep a lot. But I would be ready for something deeper now that we've played it so many times. So, Yido, you say, huh?
Yeah, it's fun. It was Pandasaurus Games that published it. I don't know. I know that there was like a collector's edition that came out. I'm not sure if it was Pandasaurus Games that did that or if it got a reprint from somebody else. But it's great. Same concept of, you're placing workers out, taking the action, but instead of having like an individual spot, the city's divided up into districts.
Mm-hmm.
And then each district, there's a certain number of spots available in that district, but you can choose. Typically, there's 3 actions per district that you can choose to take from. It's 11 rounds, which is why it's kind of long, because you start with an auction phase, but it's not a terrible auction phase because it's just whoever starts it, that's who it ends with. So, it just goes once round. It's not going to be that infinite loop of just everybody bidding $1 more than the previous person.
Right.
But then you place your people out. It's got a security guard in the middle, and it goes clockwise, and it always moves one space. But then you have action cards that can make it move an additional space, or you can change the collar, and it will move the opposite direction. So then it will be going counterclockwise. And whenever it moves, whoever's in that district, their people get arrested, and then they have to end up they can bribe the guard. Everybody has one bribe card that they start the game with.
Right.
There's some action cards that let you bribe, but then from there, you just kind of go out, complete missions. You have different difficulty levels of missions and stuff, just like with Lords of Waterdeep, but it offers up some really good choices.
Sounds cool. I'll look into it.
Well, Josh, Rowan, Jory, I appreciate the time here. Is there anything you guys want to leave us with?
No.
Other than buy the game, play the game?
Thank you so much for having us and talking to us, asking us questions. It's their first interview ever, so...
Oh, okay. I'm honored.
Never spoken to another human before. They're brand new. Yeah, so thanks for giving us a shot and listening to us about our silly little game.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it, excited to get it and see how my daughter likes it.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you all.